I've always been interested in the community side of like what I'm doing and how it impacts my community. And so I always felt like I was kind of bridging that gap between being a responsible community member and a professional of whatever kind. I started my career as an architect as a Peace Corps volunteer. So I lived in El Salvador and I was doing post disaster reparation projects. I stayed with Peace Corps for a little while and then I joined with a nonprofit down there who was doing like a United States based nonprofit that was doing disaster reparation work. So I was doing like post hurricane and post earthquake housing, housing in flood zones, that kind of thing. And then when I moved back to the States, I continued as an architect, but pretty much exclusively doing affordable housing. So when I moved to Philly, I was at this crossroads of was I going back into architecture or was I pursuing real estate development? And the position opened at Norris Square. And when I read it, I was like, it really spoke to me, that kind of, marriage of community impact and architecture. When I moved to Philadelphia, I really didn't know anybody. Like I really, I had grown up in South Jersey, but I had lived in New York for 15 years at that point, and I spent a significant amount of time just lunching and coffeeing and really trying to get to know people. And one person would have coffee with me and then list me out 3 people that they thought I should meet. And then I would call those 3 people. And so there was a lot of relationship building. And I thought how impressive it was that so many people supported me in doing that and trying that and sort of trying, learning and acclimating to a new place. And so I have found that really important in my role as a professional to do that for others. And so I tried to really, as young people reach out to me on LinkedIn or wherever and say, can I have a conversation? I try to always really make time for that because I really think I met a lot of people and I was introduced to a lot of people through kind others. And so I try to, pay that forward. But Philadelphia is the kind of place where those relationships count. That's to get a really good project done. It's all about the people that you're sitting at the table with. It's not the end product, and it's the process of getting there. So it's like the team that you're building. So a big part of getting a project off the ground is presenting it to any community and getting them excited about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and sort of having that conversation through the whole thing. So Norris Square had been a community-based organization for 30, 40 years. I don't know the exact number, but they have driven themselves on being community-oriented. And so I really knew the few block captains in those blocks, and I knew who was on my zoning committee and who was sending their children to the children's center and who was buying a new home. And I really got to know people that lived in that neighborhood and had for generations. And so it becomes personal and you're invested in people's lives. And so, as I was moving through it, a lot of the staff that I was working with and for and supervising and lived in the neighborhood. A large majority of the people that work there live right there. And the houses we were doing were right there, and the rentals that we were doing were right there. And so within just a couple of blocks, I got to know a significant number of residents. And as you build those relationships, you feel a real personal tie to a community. And so it was a driver in my work and why it was making me passionate about what I was doing, because I felt like it was really affecting people's lives and people that I knew.